Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are joined by Andy Honda and Koa, which Koa is not in frame because he's busy right now, but we are going to talk about Koa's adventures in New York City. Koa has several books that Andy has written about his adventures, and we're going to focus on some of that Christmas magic in New York City. So Andy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Andy, you are a doctor, an author, a runner. You do so much. So, tell us a little bit about your background and all of your adventures.
Sure. So my background is in medicine and in scientific communication, where I bridge science and everyday life by blending storytelling and facts that empower people to make better choices. Additionally, I own a dog bakery and fashion boutique promoting a healthy, active life, all while doing it in style. And I write children's books inspired by my pup's daily adventures in New York City. Outside of that, I run and volunteer with my pup, Koa.
So, for your boutique, what is the name of that boutique?
It's Koa's Ruff Life.
Oh, so everything. Okay, so your boutique is about Koa, the books are about Koa. That's love. That is like true doggy love. So tell us
So,
about how the boutique got started.
so everything's inspired by Koa. When I first started looking for bow ties for Koa, I wanted something that captured his personality but was still durable for playtime. I wanted to celebrate my roots. I grew up in Hawaii and I couldn't find any Hawaiian prints. So I just took to my sewing machine and started creating my own. That same kind of desire led me into the kitchen. It's also a barkery, and you know, dog food is poorly regulated, and so I
hmm
wanted healthier choices, at least for treats. And so that's how Koa's Ruff Life began.
So you've got bow ties, you've got treats. What else do you have at your boutique?
So there's bandanas, anything more on the fashionable side. And then the girls, I love the sailor bows. And I couldn't find those. Koa has a best friend that's a girl, and I wanted her to have some swag. I wanted them to be matching. And so those are the three. And there's also flowers that I make. So those are the more the fashionable things that we have, that I make.
I love that. So let's talk about Koa. So let's talk about how old Koa was when you got him, talk about his upbringing and just his personality. Tell us about him.
Sure. So Koa's a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and they're a special breed. They're loyal, they're independent, they're intelligent, and yet they're athletic. They're athletes. I got Koa when he was 8 weeks old, from upstate New York. And the reason why I got him is because I wanted a running partner. So because they're a top 5 long distance running dogs, is the real reason why I got him. But, after having him for so many years, he's kind, he's gentle, he's empathetic. He brings calm to wherever we go. He's he's always he always senses your emotions and meets you
hmm
where you are, and he responds in the most genuine ways.
What's the longest distance that Koa has ran? And I ask this because my very first half marathon, it was in 2017, and I was training. I've always had Pomeranians, so one of my Pomeranians was going on some of my runs with me. I think we got up to like 7 miles, and he was fine. He loved it. And I took him to the vet, and they were like, you know, a Pomeranian can't do that. And I was like, well, he's fine. And they were like, okay, well, he can't tell you when he gets little hairline fractures, so you can't do that anymore. And I was like, oh. So they told me like for Pomeranians to cap them out at like 3, 4 miles. I don't know. I bet every vet's different, but just curious of Koa's like longest run that he's done.
So Koa's longest run is 18 miles.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's
but
amazing.
Yeah, but I mean that's his longest that I've done. You know, one of the things I wanted to do when I got Koa was was do marathons with him. They do have dog marathons, and I wanted to enroll him in them. Our priorities changed in the past few years, and so we actually don't do it. But one of the things that I learned when we were training to do it is that they actually have weigh stands at certain points, checkpoints, to make sure they haven't lost a lot in lost a certain percentage of their body, because if they did, it's water weight, right, and that's unsafe for
Oh,
dogs. And so I always let Koa tell me when it's too much for him, and I always make sure I have enough water. So I didn't we kind of sort of built up to 18. Our
yeah, yeah.
normal a few years ago was always around 7 to 12. That 18 day was just a little extra. I was like, can we still go? He's like, yeah. But when he doesn't want to run anymore, he will stop. And he'll be like, no, I'm done.
Same.
And sometimes it's mile 3. And I'm like, I know you can run more. He's like, nope, done for the day. And I'm like, well, you have to at least run 2 miles, because that's how far we are from home. So he does let you know when it's been too much for him.
I get that. At the Chicago Marathon, mile 2, I was like, I think I'm all set. Like, I think I'm good here. But I did it
Yeah.
anyway. But Koa and I are the exact same. We're like, no, it's not the vibe.
Yeah, and I'm over there like, nope, you gotta go, you gotta go. And he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like 2 miles, we're good.
So not only is Koa an athlete, but he is also a therapy dog. So tell us
Yeah.
about where he's doing these volunteer activities.
Yeah, so Koa loves kids. So we volunteer at a children's hospital and a school with special needs. Um, you know, it, it's amazing how Koa can walk into a room and just change the energy instantly. One of my favorite memories is last year we did this Christmas cards with Koa's paw prints during the holidays. So each child helped Koa put a paw print on the card. The kids then decorated it and then took it home as a keepsake. We even set this little corner, like a photo booth, where there was festive props and a Polaroid camera where um, the kids could proudly hold up their cards that they finished next to Koa. It really is really rewarding, and every time, and I know this one was a special one, but every visit, it just reminds me why we do this work.
Hmm. And tell us about the process for him to become a therapy dog. Like, at what age did he start? And then what did the training look like?
Yeah, so Koa started at 2. They recommend that they don't start too young. 2 was the earliest age that they recommended. We first went through an evaluation to ensure that your dog has a certain temperament, because dogs have to be calm. They have to be unbothered by sudden sounds or movements. They have to,
Hmm.
be friendly but not overly excited. They have to approach people softly and not rather just jump all in. Jumping on people is a instant fail, by the way.
My
And then
dogs would
they
fail,
have
by the
to
way. My
be
dogs would
well.
all fail.
They have to be well trained, right? They have to respond to your commands, and they have to remain focused even in busy environments and long visits. And
Hmm.
so after that evaluation, you go through about a 2 month training, and then you take a test that you take in the first year. You take 2 tests. You take one that's just doing all the commands, and then the second one is a on-site visit. And our on-site visit was, as the trainer said, it was probably the worst one she could have possibly imagined. Like, everything that could have went wrong. There was someone who, we went to a nursing home, and one one patient kind of like took her cane and just like started hitting Koa. I was like, no, and Koa just like
Oh my
was like,
gosh.
okay, it's okay, and it's like they need to have that kind of resilience and that patience
Yeah.
for the unpredictability that humans always have. And then after that, every year we get recertified.
How long does the recertification take? Like, do you just go in and they like do a couple of things and then they give you the go ahead?
Yeah. So basically, the test that we took the first year, not the on-site one, but the other part is just redone. So they
Okay.
mimic different different kind of events that may happen. So if someone tries to give your dog food, you politely say no. If someone starts touching them aggressively, it's actually more about training the human than it is training the
Yeah.
dog, because the dog's just like, okay. And so you have to be able to understand and like how to handle the situations.
And Koa is the inspiration for your book series or, your line of children's books.
Yes.
And the best book, in my opinion, is Koa's Ruff Life, Christmastime in New York City, because it's about a dog, it's about Christmas time, and it's New York City, which is the best of everything. Tell us a little bit about your book and also like what sparked it, because I know it's based on your real life experiences and your Christmas traditions.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a secret that this is my favorite too. Christmas time in New York City is my favorite time. So this was my favorite book. I loved writing it, and I still read it. And I'm like, I just love it. So Christmas time in New York City takes kids on a holiday adventure through New York City. We visit some of the season's most beloved traditions. We start at the Macy Day Parade. We visit the Rockefeller Christmas tree. We go to the Rockettes in Radio City. It's 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 a story that celebrates the magic of the season in New York City. It was inspired by our actual own Christmas morning tradition. Every year, we stroll down Fifth Avenue. We view the window displays. We stop by the Rockefeller Christmas tree, and then we make our way down to the Winter Village at Bryant Park. This book is really a love letter to New York City. Its traditions and capturing that spirit that makes the season so memorable.
I love that. Do you ever dress Koa up? Like, does Koa ever dress up like an elf or like Santa Claus?
So I can't find an outfit big enough to fit him, but he does have some like things that are red, and kind of sort of Christmassy. I do have a lot of matching outfits with him. I do have
Oh,
pajamas
cute.
that fit him. I don't know if they fit him anymore, but they're seasonal, so they have all the little one has like the reindeers on it. So I do have things for him, but it's hard to find things that actually fit him.
So how big is Koa again? Like, how much does Koa weigh?
He's 96 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Do you ever take him on the subway? Do you take like a big IKEA bag and like put him in it? You know how people do that with like the big bags.
Yeah. So so he does go in the subway, but he doesn't go in a bag. Um,
That's fair.
but
Fair. I get it.
and if someone tells me no, then I'm like, okay. But I mean, no one's ever said anything. I don't think. I mean, he's also very calm. Like, he's not making noise. He's not being, too much. But yeah, I
Right.
don't put him in a bag.
I love to see like they're the big blue IKEA bags and they'll even like
Yeah.
cut the legs out of the bottom. And at that point it's like they're not really even in it. Like they're walking with the bag on. You're like, that doesn't count.
I wanted to get one of those that I could put him on my back.
Oh yeah.
You know how like they have those bags with the small dogs where you can put them on your back. I wanted that, but I couldn't find one that fit Koa. And then two, now that he's 96 pounds, I can't carry 96 pounds. But when he was
Yeah.
84 last year, I probably would have tried.
I love that. So, okay, so Koa's Rough Life, Christmas Time in New York City is book number 3. What
Yes.
are books 1 and 2?
So book one is Koa's adventure to the Central Park Zoo. And this one was inspired by our morning runs in Central Park. In Central Park, the zoo is split by a pathway that pedestrians can just walk on. And I personally always stop by and make sure that the zoo is a part of our route because I love seeing the sea lions. The sea lions are just my love. They sometimes are swimming, sometimes they're showing off, and they're just standing there, just like, oh, I'm all pretty. This past summer, there's this one where they have this rock formation, and he just kind of sort of plopped on top of it. I was like, wow, that's a mood. So I had to write a book about him. So that was book one. Book two is the scavenger hunt at Bryant Park, where there's actually the scavenger hunt actually has things that are in Bryant Park itself. So the lions in front of the New York Public Library to the carousel, and there's a hidden door that is also in there. So all these things that are actually part of Bryant Park is part of that scavenger hunt. What is included in that one is also an interactive one that kids can actually tear out and then actually do and try to find those things in Bryant Park.
Oh, that's fun. So, what's next for Koa? What is the next potential book that we can see for Koa's adventures?
Yeah, so I haven't decided or I haven't written it yet, but I read this recently, and I get it almost every year during, I guess the year or like when the Brooklyn Bridge first was I guess made, and in 1884 they had 22 elephants walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to say it was safe. And so I always wanted to know why they decided on 22 elephants and how they got 22 elephants to walk simultaneously across this bridge. And so I have so many questions about the Brooklyn Bridge. I feel like the Brooklyn Bridge is going to be part of book 4. So maybe we're going to go to Brooklyn in book 4. But I definitely want to research the Brooklyn Bridge. So that will be part of our next book, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it's so iconic. And I mean, I don't even know where you get that many elephants. I don't know in what world we're like, hey, let's measure this with elephants, because we don't use the metric system in the United States, but we definitely use elephants because that is logical, you know?
And 22, like that's a specific number. Like not 20, 22. I mean, there's so many questions I
Right.
have about these 22 elephants right now.
Yeah. So, where can everyone find all of your books, and then where can people find you as well?
Yeah, so everything's online at koasrufflife.com. The Barkery, the fashion boutique, and the books are all on that website. And then anything outside of Koa's Ruff Life, you can find on my website at andyhondamd.com.
Well, Andy, thank you for sharing this with us. For all of the listeners, I hope you get a chance to read Koa's Ruff Life, Christmastime in New York City, because it is so magical and it is so wonderful. And I can't wait for your 4th book and to learn about Brooklyn. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.